or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm Emmanuel Rose, and today we are going to dig into the world of pay-per-click ads. And my guest is Lisa Roxham, a dynamic force in the marketing landscape with her extensive experience in harnessing the power of AI. Lisa is here to share her insights on how businesses can effectively integrate technology into their pay-per-click marketing strategies. Her innovative approach has transformed numerous campaigns, making her a sought-after expert in the field, and she's even a contributor to some of the important magazines, which she'll tell us about too. Lisa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Emmanuel. I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's good. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to figuring out how I can implement some new things in my pay-per-click campaigns.
Good.
Has anything changed in the last few weeks?
Yeah, they had the big meeting, the Google Marketing Live meeting, so I can talk about that a little bit. Obviously they're leaning in really heavy to AI. It seems like they have some catching up to do, and there's been a lot of chaos, in the industry for the last 6 months to a year with the AI overviews being introduced into the search results.
Yeah,
And
that's really been a nice one more nice interruption in Google search results and pay-per-click results.
Right. Well, when you have, people put all of their eggs into the Google basket, right? And they're so dependent on the income that they get from their SEO and their PPC. So, I mean, I really don't blame them for freaking out, but really cool heads prevail.
Yeah.
So
How many years have you been working in the PPC space, in the digital marketing space?
I have been about 18 years ago, I decided to just focus on PPC.
Wow.
So
you are kind
right.
of like a little encyclopedia on PPC.
Yes, I've seen a lot of things change over the years, and I still can't believe it's been that long because things are always changing. I'm always learning. I'm always studying. I don't get a break, honestly.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's digital marketing in general, right? Like it's just so dynamic, especially, in the last two and a half years since chat popped up. We get no breaks, we get no rests.
right. Yeah, it was a lot slower moving when I first started out, and people were just learning how to monetize websites.
Right. Yeah.
Like just websites.
Yeah. So then you focus on primarily on Google and Bing, and what other ad services are you focused on?
Besides Google ads and Microsoft ads, depending on the client, social media ads, a lot of LinkedIn. I get a lot of LinkedIn. And then, like I said, depends on the client. So sometimes Pinterest or Meta ads or Reddit is coming up right now on the people's advertisers' radar. So it depends on the client. Anything that's a cost per click and works for that what their business is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get you. And then it's kind of a mix between B2B and B2C, your client base.
Right. Yeah. I have a lot more B2B right now. So the focus is on basically Google, Microsoft, and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And So I like that. It's really challenging with in doing that. So, when when I have consumer clients, they'll be looking more in some of the other channels that I mentioned.
Sure. Now, I mean, all these platforms that you mentioned have started integrating in AI previews and AI generated headlines and images and suggestions. Um, is there a reason to have an AI middleware between the brand and the platform? I'm going to just ask that question first.
You mean to use like ChatGPT or a third party tool to help with your Google ads or your Microsoft
Yeah,
ads?
like there was this tool called Loop Genius, which was a pay-per-click ad generator,
Oh,
and
okay.
it would it generate examples and or it would connect with a platform and just generate the ads and then run them for you. So is there a reason to do that, or is it better to just go straight to the platforms?
That's a good question. I think if you're just starting out with a new campaign and you need some seed ideas to get going, that those can be very helpful. I think you really need to focus a lot on what your prompt is because it really needs to know what your business, your positioning, the features and benefits, your call to action. So it will need a lot of guidance. And really, at this point, if you're experienced, it would just be easier for you to write the ads. So, you could write you could write your 10 headlines, for example, or write a selection of headlines and maybe enter those in there with some of that other information, say, give me, 10 more ideas. But there's really a strategy to writing those ads. And I think big misconception is that it seems easy because there's less words. It's actually harder because there's less
All right.
words.
Concision is always the challenge for the marketing professional.
Exactly, because you have to hit on so many points in such a small space.
Yeah.
So I think the answer is if you want some really good ads, you'll need a combination of the platform native AI tools, maybe an external tool, and then your human brain.
Yeah, that's good. And then I think that's a really great spot too to develop a custom GPT in one of the services, right? Where you have past examples of successful campaigns. You have, like you're talking about, the product brief or whatever description you have, and then competitive ads to reference, and then also tertiary or non-competing ads to look at that have been successful also, so that you're actually getting some good elements to the ads, right?
You could right, if you made a custom AI bot, you could do that. So everything you just said, I would put in there. It'll take some time to set it up.
Yep.
And when, I think what makes me stutter right now because I'm thinking so much about this is they think that what it's so easy, like AI is making it so easy, but just in this example that you're giving, you can see how much work it is for the person, for the expert to put in all of that information to guide it. So in
Right.
theory, you put all this work in up front, give it all the proper direction, and it should be able to be a great assistant moving forward for creating new ads and then analyzing the ones that have been launched in comparison to the past ads, and then also with the competitors, like you said. That would be great. That I always want to make a side note on looking at the competitors' work because you don't know if the competitors' ads really work well.
Right. Maybe you'd have to draw some inferences, like if it how long it's been running and how much the spend is, right? To see. But yeah, to your point, we don't wouldn't obviously wouldn't have their math conversion.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's good to know what they're doing. So what's the word on the street? What are they saying? What
Yeah.
is their positioning so that you can match it, exceed it, or go in a totally different direction to get more attention.
Yeah. Now, you said you've got a lot of B2B work right now. Obviously, LinkedIn is going to be a primary platform for that, but where else are you seeing B2B pay-per-click ads generating good leads for business campaigns?
Well, I think you said LinkedIn is a good one. If you are so Google and Microsoft are also good for B2B, but you have to know how to work with them. Microsoft is actually a little bit better. They have different demographics where there's more professionals because the Microsoft products are used more frequently in business.
Right.
So so their products are more integrated, their ads are more integrated, and they also have this really neat feature that you can use targeting LinkedIn data to target people.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yes. It's hard
So
to
it's a
wrap your
lot
head
less
around.
expensive that way, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice to be talking about someone that's so savvy in marketing. So we can just and rather than just keywords or the typical targeting, we can also layer in companies. I think it's
Yeah.
company seniority, maybe job titles. It's
Nice.
limited, but you have it. I mean, that's amazing. And yes, you can
Yeah.
do it cheaper
Well, that
there.
supports your ABM strategies really nicely. Yeah, for probably a 1/50th of the cost of advertising on LinkedIn.
And it's really hard to reach business professionals through search because it's hard to they're not using their business email
Right.
typically,
Right.
and you don't know what their job is because it's their personal email. This is a big problem on Google. So I've actually written some articles about this where you can find different audiences that have the like business intent, and you can
Uh-huh.
get a lot closer in reaching professionals rather than just say, they're interested in, building or construction. And you can get a little bit more refined in trying to figure out what
Hmm.
they do for a living.
Well, I have a product you might be interested in. We can talk about offline. It's a real time search lead that's actually has their keyword they search for their company and the company email address. So you have a chance to really zero in on them that way. Um,
Huh. Okay.
uh, so I'm curious in the SEO space, there's this concern about generative engine optimization, right? Where we want to start building out content in order to be super accessible for the GPTs and get results as people are searching for things that are relevant to our business. Is there a corollary to that yet in the pay-per-click world where I can pay to show up in Claude or pay to show up in 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 answers? Do you know about this yet?
I know that it doesn't exist right now, but as part of the recent announcements, Google talked about expanding the serving of search ads and shopping ads in the results with the AI overviews.
Interesting.
So,
Okay, yeah, that makes
yeah, so
sense.
they
In the
did
overviews, yeah.
right. So they'll be expanding the visibility of the ads and shopping ads.
Well, I'm sure there'll be an upcharge for that also.
Right. Yes. So this also this also couples with the fact that they talked a lot about the concept of keywordless search campaigns so that the ads are not triggered just on keywords, but rather on intent of the searcher.
Okay.
So, yeah, so looking at the millions of signals that the searcher is is giving to Google about who they are, what they're looking for, and a much deeper level than it used to be. So if someone used to
Interesting.
be someone is just saying, I want to buy shoes, they're going to get probably a pretty generic ad for a shoe store. And now if they're searching for shoes, Google is able to say, okay, where are you located? What gender are you? Have you looked for shoes in the past? What time
Right.
of day is it? Would you be interested? You might be interested in going to the store, or if it's in the evening, you might be interested in looking at an online retailer. Um, are you interested in sports? You might want athletic shoes rather than dress shoes. So looking at that whole package of the user behavior and serving the ad to them than just off of the keyword, which I think is fantastic because they have that data
Sure.
and it's it's a lot more relevant, and that sort of AI does make our job easier, if we're able to hit the ROAS goals, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I mean, that does make
Right.
it a lot easier than us picking out targeting for every single thing on the planet when they know exactly
Yeah.
where that person is and what that person likes.
Yeah. And I know that they have about 30,000 data points per each person, which
Hmm.
seems like an excessive amount of data points, but it is interesting. So instead of having to go and select everything, now they're going to start basically unmasking that for you to support your ads, essentially.
Right. So some of the campaigns are without going into crazy details, some of the campaigns are based on keyword themes as it is,
Right.
rather than just the one keyword. Because some people agonize over that one keyword, right?
Right. Yeah.
Does it say buy shoes or purchase shoes? And
Yeah.
they get crazy about it, trust me. So and then the search campaigns are still keyword based. So you're putting in 10 to 20 keywords per as your theme for an ad. So this is basically saying, hey, we're going to be looking at matching your keywords and your themes to a lot of other things that
Yeah.
you
Love
don't
it.
need to define. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what we have been telling you the whole time is we're matching it to the search query.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I know Zuckerberg was talking about trying to make it so easy and so AI based that businesses will no longer need agencies. So, do you think that's possible?
Is it in the scope of the future of the planet? It could be, but I would love for it to be able to do my job so that I could just work on strategy or relax on a
Mhm.
beach. But
Right.
unfortunately, it does not. It does not reach that level. A lot of we were talking about the ads earlier, a lot of the auto-generated ad copy is not great.
Right.
And sometimes it misses very obvious things. So right now it's not in that sort of a place. I think that Meta also has a lot more data about people
Sure.
for their
Absolutely.
targeting.
Yeah.
And while there is uh a lot of e-commerce, a lot of leads that are exactly tied back to revenue, that's not their whole business. They do a lot of branding, so um, that's a little bit easier.
Yeah. I have a strategy question for you. We know that for successful campaigns in general, that we want to have a blend of branding and emotion, and we want to have a blend of call to action and transactional messaging. Do you blend in branding pay per click ads, or are they all for your clients? Are they all transactional?
Oh, oh, that's great. So I think there should be a mix of different strategies um, throughout the funnel, depending on what the customer journey is. And so sometimes so I will usually have branding campaigns or competitive campaigns, a product or service campaign. This is what I do, this is what I sell. And then something that is lower funnel that just is trying to drive to the sale or to the lead. So to hit
Right.
them at all those places, they also can, you know, cross pollinate, and the emphasis on those different touch points will depend on, you know, where they are in their business and what their budget is. Budget is a huge part. So because
Sure.
I've worked on campaigns where they don't have any brand recognition at all because they're a new company.
Right.
So that gets super tricky. So the brand will be non-existent. So how do you make up for that?
Right.
That's why I'm like,
It's part of
eh.
the magic.
Right. It is. That's actually fun. It's fun when it's like you don't exist right now. So
Right.
here's how we need to do this. And that's a lot of competitive, which I would consider branding.
Mm.
So someone searching for your competitor and you're like, "Hey, here we are. We're like this. Check us out instead."
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one where I'd love to have like the CEO or the founder as as the person talking, right? Like that. That's like the quickest emotion connection that you can make for a new brand, I think.
Mhm.
Well, I love it. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of changes coming forward as we get more sophisticated software. What do you see happening for your business over the next 3 years, and what is PPC going to look like in 2028?
Well, one thing that I have seen change quite a bit over the past year and a half or so is more people calling me for strategy,
Mm,
and then basically hiring outsourcing the implementation and then using AI to ask me questions, if that makes sense. So they'll say, well, what do I here's what ChatGPT told me about this.
oh wow, yeah,
Is this true? Can you help me with this?
right,
So they're coming to me with sort of an answer, which is kind of good, right? Because they're getting close to it. So I don't have
yeah,
to do all that selling around the concept of it, that
yeah,
this will or will not work. And I can say, yeah, kind of. And then it helps to guide us to where the files are, things like that. So more calls for strategy, and I guess translating what the AI is telling them, because I think they have that misconception that they can just ask AI how to do their Google Ads campaigns. I
right,
mean, I wouldn't put all of my faith into those tools because we're talking about money here. So that it isn't a place where you should cheap out on it and be so concerned about how much you have to pay someone to run it. So just seeing this at the beginning, I'm thinking that it might, my job might go more into that direction of where I'm working more with AI and explaining how the AI can help us run the campaigns,
right,
and then translating it and double checking it. There's lots of times that I use AI where I'm looking at the results and I have to correct it.
right,
And I think this is one of those businesses where there's so many details and nuances and rules, and then all of those years of experience I have in seeing what has worked. And I think that people are definitely uh still critical to the process. So I think we'll see that. And they're moving so fast that they're not really testing all these new features. So the humans are
right.
going to need to come in and like just check everything.
Yeah, human in the loop. We can't avoid that, or it will be to our own peril.
Right. What do you think?
Um, in the next 3 years, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have a full adoption of this until at least 2030. So, what I'm seeing um, in like my established client base is that even all my clients aren't even using ChatGPT yet, right? I have clients that are not touching this yet. So, we're on, those of us who are dealing with it every day, we get really anxious, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to be out of job next year, but no, it's going to take time. I think it's an amazing opportunity for us to all build very customized software for each individual business. That to me is the most exciting part of what we're experiencing right now. And the amount of time, the time leverage, right? Where we're getting 30 to 50% of our time back in certain processes. So, but I think there's a horizon of time of at least 5 years, and it's really like spreading the market out very wide, right? Like the laggards are still haven't touched it in 2.5 years, and then you've got, the new companies are coming in building processes straight from AI tools. So there's a very big disparity in the market right now, which is interesting.
There is a big disparity, and I think that's because the people who are getting into it, they don't have training for it
Yeah.
to become excited about the concept of it, and then as they're using it, they're like, "This is junk." I don't
Yeah, right. Yeah.
they use it and they're like, "This is junk," and it's like, "This I don't understand this." I mean, it takes training to get it to I trained in it to learn how to use it, and once I did, I
Right.
was like, "This is amazing." So,
Yeah.
because you also learn, what to look for and how to correct it and how to guide it, so, yeah, those are really astute observations.
And the commitment that you and I both have, and that all business professionals need to have, is this idea, this upskilling idea, right? Like I have to learn about it. I have my certain lines. I don't want to think like a computer programmer. That's not my nature. But I have to understand how they think, and I have to be able to ask questions and make requests. Um, but we have to upskill, and we have to understand what this technology is, because it's bigger to me than the invention of the internet in terms of what it can do to save time and make our lives better. So, well,
Absolutely.
Lisa, I really have appreciated your time and enjoyed the conversation, and I feel like we just barely even scratched the
Mhm.
surface. So, I'm gonna reach out and invite you to come on again, a couple of months if you're willing, and we can do this again.
Sounds great, I'm sure there will be a lot of changes by then.
I'm sure there will continue to change. If people want to get in touch with you and talk about pay-per-click advertising, how do they do that?
I would love if people connected with me on LinkedIn so that we can have a conversation and follow each other's work. And then I also have a newsletter called The Paid Media Mix that is on Substack and on LinkedIn as well.
Nice, love it. Well, all that information will be in the show notes, and we'll make sure it's easy for people to get in touch with you.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much for spending some time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
You too. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Well, I love it. Let's take some time to dig in and look at your pay-per-click strategy and your pay-per-click results, and maybe look around and see if there's some tools that might work for you to innovate or report, and get some time back that way. I hope in general that you take some time today to track down some AI tools and integrate them into your processes, and get back an hour or two this week so that you can spend it upskilling, or that you can spend it with your friends, your family, or by getting outside and feeling sun on your face and smelling clean air. It's Emmanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.